Well, here it is. It's finally out. No, not that movie. We'll get to that later. Jurassic World Rebirth finally hit theaters about a couple weeks ago. And as any sane Jurassic fan does, I went to go see it on its opening night. I went to the theater with my friend, got some free merch and some not so free merch, went to our theater, sat down, and watched the film. And I thought I'd make a video kind of explaining my whole thoughts on the entire film. And since I know obviously there's no footage of the movie on YouTube, and even if I could put it on there, I'd get copyright struck into all hell. We're going to be building this Lego set I just picked up while I talk about the movie. So, without further ado, let's get into it. This should go without saying, but spoiler warning, spoiler warning. If you haven't seen Jurassic World Rebirth, I'm gonna spoil the entire movie, the entire thing, not just a little bit, just the whole movie. So, if you haven't seen it and you watch this video and you get mad at me for spoiling the movie, as I'm saying right now that I'm going to spoil the whole movie, don't get mad at me, get mad at yourself, because obviously you don't listen to instructions. Anyway, with that being said, let's actually get into some reviewing. Now, I could sit here and give you the spark notes of how the movie goes, but assuming that you've already seen the movie, you already get the gist of how the movie goes. So instead of me just explaining the whole movie, I'm just going to go over first what I liked and then what I didn't like. Now, I think the first thing I want to go over here is some of the creature designs for this movie, excluding the hybrids. I will get to those later. They're in the part that I didn't like, if you couldn't tell already. So let's go over some dinosaur designs. Starting off with the Velociraptor. I think the Velociraptor design in this movie is absolutely fantastic. It is a nice little callback to JP3, The Lost World. It just gives that like classic Jurassic Velociraptor feel, and I'm all for it because I mean, I've seen the renders and I've seen the artwork for it, and I just absolutely love how the Velociraptor looks in this film. It sucks they only get 10 seconds of unfocused screen time, but I'll get into that later. Anyways, moving on to the next dinosaur design we have in the film, we have. I'll go over actually, I like Dilophosaurus. Dilophosaurus makes a very brief cameo in this film, but honestly, I really like its design. It's a nice little callback. Not really a novel callback. Basically just in its fro, the way it's designed and all that. It was a nice little cameo from Dilophosaurus. And I thought the Titanosaurs looked cool. And I mean, Ankylosaurus, Apatosaurus, I mean, they were brief cameos. They were just Jurassic World models. They weren't really that special. I didn't really care for Jurassic World Anky or Apatosaurus. So those ones were like, eh. I will say the Titanosaurs looked really cool. And I also like those little fins on their neck that extend when they were having that little heartfelt moment in the grass with Loomis and all that. I thought that was pretty cool. Jeez, what actual dinosaurs were in that film. Some of the set design with the two-headed Triceratops baby, that was pretty cool to see. And let's go over the best design in this whole movie. Because I mean, I'm not gonna not talk about it. The T-Rex design in this film, stunning, absolutely stunning. A true return to form for a Jurassic Tyrannosaurus. This is not a, you know, weak, malnourished, old Tyrannosaurus. This is like a nice, I wouldn't say young, because obviously I think it's a fully grown Tyrannosaur, but it's bulky, it's beefy, it's muscular, it really does look like a mixture between the buck, like a male Tyrannosaur and a female Tyrannosaur. And it's just a really good design. And I also like kind of how it does have some differences. It doesn't look like a Jurassic, well, it looks like a Jurassic T-Rex, but it also has its like own kind of features that make it stand out, like the giant osteoderms on his lower jaw, kind of like an iguana, and I really like that. But yeah, the T-Rex in this movie is just absolutely stunning. We'll get to his scene later on. Next, I want to go over the cinematography. Some of the scenes I think were shot just absolutely stunning. I remember there was this one scene where it was like a sunrise and you had like the jungle with some amphibians and all that. That was really cool. I really loved the cinematography in this film. It's really nice. Another thing to note out here was the soundtrack to the film. I think, I believe I'm gonna probably get a butcher his name, Alexander Desplat, I think his name is. I think he did a really good job with the score. Honestly, I think it was one of the better Jurassic scores that we've gotten in recent years. Granted, Michael Giacchino has done score for Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, Dominion. He did it, he did good with Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom and Dominion. Kind of fanned out after Jurassic World. But another thing I'd like to point out, there was a lot of references to the original film. Of course, when you go into the museum, that was pretty much all the references in the museum. You had the When Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth banner. You had the animatic with all the kind of like 1950s style dinosaurs and this kind of like retro, almost like comic style animation. And of course, you have that T Rex skeleton, which a lot of people are saying that was Rexy. I think we should wait for like digital HD images of that skull to come out, and maybe then we can figure out if it was really Rexy. I don't think it was, in my personal opinion, but you never know. And back to the cinematography of the film, I'd like to go over some of the scenes that I really liked. One of them takes place later on in the film, and that is the gas station scene where the main characters are meeting up with the um, Delgado family, and they're at the gas station, and the whole worker village comes to life at night. The geothermal power plant turns on, and "Stand by Me" comes on. The song "Stand by Me," I believe, by Benny King, and I think just the song pick, the eeriness of the whole scene, I think that was just done really well. Another one of my favorites was the Titanosaur scene when they're looking for the Titanosaurs and they all stand up, and we get that little taste of the original score, and I think that honestly that was just a really nice scene. You know, I think a lot of us were like Loomis in that scene. We were like, "Oh my god, look at the dinosaurs! This is great!" Um, and another scene I really liked was the Quetzal scene. The whole sequence where we're trying to get the Quetzalcoatlus DNA sample, I think that was done really well. I love the Quetzal design in this movie. I know I've said it already, but I absolutely just love the Quetzal design. Another thing I really liked, um, another scene was the kind of the sequence where the Mosasaur attacks the Delgado family boat and attacks the Duncan's boat. I also thought that was really nice as well. That whole sequence, I think, was done pretty well, where they crash land on the shore and the lady gets eaten by the Spino. That was pretty cool. That whole sequence, I think, was done really well. I won't delve too much into the scenes because obviously you've seen the movie, and obviously my favorite scene in the film was the T Rex River raft scene. That pulled straight from the novel. It's just such a good scene. The cinematography, the T Rex, it's just perfect. It really is the best scene in the whole franchise. Not the whole franchise, the whole film. And actually, I'd like to go over the characters a little bit. The characters in this movie were done all right. In my personal opinion, I think like Zora, Duncan, Loomis, I think they were pretty good characters. I liked them all. I really wish we could have gotten some more depth on like Leclerc and the other two mercenaries that get murked by Spinos. I think if we got a little bit more depth with them, I think we would have felt a little more when they die. The billionaire pharmaceutical guy, it would have been nice to kind of um explore his character more before he dies as well. Honestly, his death scene was actually kind of cool, where the Distortus like decapitates him and all that. Distortus, sorry. We'll get to Distortus later. I have to rant about something else, but I'm trying to think of other things that I really like about the film. Cinematography, the new dinosaurs. Well, not new dinosaurs, but like Dolores, the Quetzal T Rex, Titanosaurus, Velociraptor. Those were all great designs. Like I've said earlier, Spinosaurus. I keep forgetting about Spinosaurus. Spinosaurus is just a great design, great execution. Something I want to go over that is also kind of mediocre is the pacing of this film. Now we'll be getting into the kind of stuff that I didn't care for. We'll get into, we've done the good. Now we're going to do the mediocre, and then we'll get into the bad and then the absolute ugly, right? So in the somewhat mediocre, we kind of have pacing. It takes a while to get out to the island. And when I was watching it, we're getting there. We're getting almost there, almost there, almost there. And you're kind of just sitting there like, all right, can we get to the island now? Can we get to the island? I want to see some dinosaurs. Can we get to the island, please? Right? Another thing that bugged this one little nitpick. It was in New York. when they're saying there's a Brachiosaurus on the loose and it was an Apatosaurus. Come on. Ugh. And then Loomis calling pterosaur, no, not pterosaur, Quetzalcoatlus and Mosasaur dinosaurs. That was just like, oh, come on. You're the only paleontologist in this film. You're calling them dinosaurs. Come on. But that's just a little nitpicky. Um, so yeah, the pacing and the plot, like the writing, some of the writing was just like kind of, but overall, still not bad. I just think some of the scenes could have been done a little bit better. One of them I think could have been done just a tad bit better. Was pretty much all of Disorders Rex scene. I would have liked to see more explored in the prologue to kind of see what InGen was doing on that facility, because we don't really get much info, especially when it comes to the D-Rex, because the D-Rex is just kind of there and it's not really explained. Like, why did they make the D-Rex? I'm assuming they were trying for Indominus, right? This is Site C, officially confirmed now. So it kind of confuses me why there's like no, like, it would have been nice to kind of see more in that facility when it was operational, or maybe while they were in the abandoned facility later on in the film. It would have been nice if they actually stayed in there a little bit more and like kind of just did some snooping around. I know Loomis was snooping around a little bit, but I feel like that is kind of a missed opportunity right there to kind of explore like what the hell was InGen doing here, because it's like this is the third island that InGen owns with dinosaurs on it. What in God's green earth were they doing here? More testing? Good lord, how many islands do they need for that? It's like this, it's like a Russian, those old Russian dolls where you crack them in half and there's another one inside. You crack that one in half and there's another one. That's InGen with islands with dinosaurs on them, pretty much at this point. Which is it's kind of funny, but it's also like InGen. How many islands do you need to make dinosaurs? You had Nublar, and then you had Sorna, and now you have St. Hubert. I digress. Now, getting into some of there's one scene in particular. I'm going to talk about this for quite a bit because I'm sure a lot of people share the same opinion as I do, right? The Velociraptor scene in Rebirth. You all know what I'm talking about. Xavier's off the beaten path. He's taking a piss, right? Raptor sneaks up on him. We can see it. It's not in focus, but we know he's about to get absolutely murked by two raptors. They're going to rip him limb from limb. Here comes the Mutodon, kills at least one of the raptors, and then flies away. And what does this dude do? He continues to take his piss. In my opinion, that is the most disrespectful scene I've seen in my life to Velociraptors. I mean, granted, I know after Dominion we were all kind of burnt out with Velociraptors. Like, oh, we've seen blue, we've seen blue, we've seen blue, we want something different. This is not the answer, though. We want raptors that are vicious killers, like in Jurassic Park, in The Lost World, in JV3. Jurassic World is kind of babyfied the raptors, where it's like, oh, no, Blue is our friend. He's here to help, or she's here to help us. It's like, no, that's a velociraptor. It has a 6-inch retractable claw that will kill you any moment, maybe slice you across the chest, or up your throat, or whatever. Or stick it in your back like it did with Udesky, right? We want the old Jurassic Raptors back, and this design was so good, and it was so just a missed opportunity to use it for something like really cool. Like, if they had kept it in where he gets like, I don't know if this was actually part of the script and they scrapped it, but if he had gotten mauled by the Velociraptors, even if that was the only scene in the movie with the Velociraptors, and I know damn well it wasn't, because I feel like the Mutodons were a last minute decision by Universal. I honestly think that. I think while they were in post production, because here's the thing about Rebirth, it was filmed in a like 3 or 4 month time frame. It was, we didn't know about this film until like a year ago, right? It started filming, I think in like June. I think it wrapped up in like September, and it went into post production. We didn't get a trailer until I think late February or early March of this year, and the film was coming out in July. So obviously the film was kind of rushed out, and it's so obvious, especially with some of the pacing, and some things could have been like, oh, that could have been done better. Oh, that could have been done better, right? I think these Mutodons were a last minute addition by Universal, or I think they were there originally, but I don't think they had a big role. But I think the way that they did with Mutadons and the Raptors, I think it was just terrible, honestly. I hated that scene where the Raptor gets absolutely just bodied. And the worst part is, it's all out of frame, so we don't even get to see the glorious Raptor design. I mean, of course, it got leaked through renders and stuff like that, so we know what it looks like, and it's beautiful. It's such a nice design. It's a JP3 Raptor, like, sculpt, and it's got, hints of like tiger stripes and shit like that. And it's such a good design, and it sucks that it was wasted in a 10-second piss joke. That's what kills me about it, because it is such a really nice design that just absolutely gets tossed out. It got the JP3 treatment. It got JP3, right? You know, JP3. T-Rex gets killed by the Spino. The Spino's the new big baddie, right? Everyone hated that. Oh, why'd they kill the T-Rex? Oh, he killed the T-Rex. Has a T-Rex died since Jurassic Park 3? No. There's a very good reason for that. Because when you kill off one of the cult classics, people are going to get mad. If you had Rebirth start off with Rexy getting killed by something, people would have been mad. Or even if Blue got killed by something, people would have been mad. And people are mad about their, at least a lot of people I've talked to, that is like their least favorite scene in the entire film. A lot of people do not like this scene. I am very much one of them. I think that is the worst scene in the franchise. And we're still including Dominion. Like, Dominion sucks as a movie, but that scene itself was worse than Dominion. I don't know how you do that, right? It's just the Mutadons aggravate me. I didn't mind their design, but I feel like if they were kind of, what would have been nice if they worked with the Raptors. If the Mutadons saw the Raptors, because the Mutadon's obviously part Velociraptor, or Dromaeosaur in some regard, right? Have those two work together. That would have been cool to see. I think a lot of people would have been more like, oh, that's kind of cool seeing like a hybrid and a regular dinosaur kind of work together because they're kind of part of the same. You did it with Indominus and the Velociraptors and Jurassic World. Everyone loved that. Or at least I think they did. I liked it. But getting to Distortus Rex, the only good thing about Distortus Rex was its introduction scene. I think that was actually done really cool. Because he had the helicopter coming in, and then you see the Distortus is holding the helicopter, and he destroys it, and he eats the people, and I think there was like 2 or 3 people inside the helicopter. He kills them, which means that the Distortus Rex has 5 confirmed on-screen kills, so 5 times more of the Dominion's Giga. I'm just saying, just putting it out there. But I think honestly, the Distortus Rex was just kind of useless. He's there, yeah, but there's no build up to him. There's no like, he's not stalking the characters throughout the island. They just don't know it, right? He just kind of shows up, and boy, is he ugly. He is really ugly. And of course, he has that whole, there's that whole scene where the flares and all that. It's like, wonder where they got that one from. Where have we seen that before? That one was kind of like, meh. I didn't really care for the Distorus Rex in its scenes. I just, not my cup of tea. I don't like hybrids. I like real dinosaurs. In my opinion, they could have replaced Mutadons with Velociraptors. I mean, that's obviously the clear choice, what they should have done, but of course they didn't. And honestly, just replace the Distorus Rex with like camouflaged Incarnators or something like that. Would have been golden. Would have been beautiful having to see those guys on screen. And this would have been the island to do it, because obviously they were screwing around with the genomes of dinosaurs. I mean, you look and everything's kind of slightly different, like Dilophosaurus, slightly different. T-Rex, slightly different. Velociraptor, slightly different. So you could have definitely had a Carnotaurus that was camouflaged. And could have had them be the kind of antagonist dinosaur of the film. And I think that would have been a lot better. Because you could have the camouflaging Carnos stalking the main cast throughout the film. And then, the big reveal. And maybe the camouflaging Carnos is what shut down that facility in the prologue. But of course, that is just my opinion, as this whole video is just me rambling about Rebirth while I build a Lego set, or while you watch me build a Lego set. Did I like Rebirth? We'll just ask the main question. Did I like Rebirth? Yes, I enjoyed it. My theater experience was great. I obviously got some of the merch that my theater was handing out. I got the nice little DNA incubator popcorn bucket, which I actually still have sealed. I have yet to open it. I kind of want to get another one. But did I like Rebirth? Yes. Is it my favorite film in the franchise? No. Do I think it's the worst film in the franchise? Far from it. It is in my opinion, leagues above what we got from Dominion, Fallen Kingdom. Like, this is something I think is actually kind of like a true return to form in some cases. Of course, is it genuinely perfect? No, but I don't think it's terrible. Now, if I would have to fit Rebirth into my ranking of the Jurassic films, it would have to go something like this. Obviously, Jurassic Park, number one, best movie in the franchise, no doubt about it. And then followed by The Lost World, Jurassic World, JP3, Rebirth, Fallen Kingdom, Dominion. And now I'm not saying that Rebirth is like as bad as Fallen Kingdom. It's more like it's around the same as JP3. Like I get the same amount of enjoyment out of Rebirth as I do JP3. JP3 just a little bit more though because it's JP3. But it's not bad. I mean, the movie's getting a lot of flack right now, and while I understand some aspects of it, some other aspects I'm like, yeah, but at the end of the day, it's still just it's a dinosaur movie. I mean, it's a movie for me to sit back, kind of turn my brain off a little bit, and watch some dinosaurs eat people, which I definitely got that in this film. And I think Rebirth is still better than Fallen Kingdom and Dominion combined. But I do understand why people dislike it. I mean, obviously, not everybody's going to like this movie. But looking at how it's done over the last month or so, I I think it's safe to say we might actually get another sequel out of this. But I do like the direction that Rebirth took us in. It took us away from the Jurassic World trilogy. It took us into something new. And granted, not all of it was good, but there were some aspects that I believe were done very well. Obviously, with this whole review, I've mentioned what they've done well and what they haven't. I can only hope from now they learn a lesson from this, and they go, okay, well the fans like this, we need to do more of that, but they didn't like this, so we can't do that. If only they did that in the last one too, which I mean they kind of did, but you know, every time they listen, there's a downfall somewhere. But so that has been my review on Jurassic World Rebirth. Kind of a lengthy video here, talking about a dinosaur movie that's been out for nearly a month, but you know, it is what it is. Uh, you know, obviously aware I haven't been uploading as much as I usually have over the last few years, ever since that JP 30th anniversary stop motion. I've kind of been sporadically uploading. That's just due to life and stuff. Life finds a way, but life also gets in the way. So I hope to be making some more content soon. I have some ideas. Might do another one of these Lego building videos. If you guys be interested in that, let me know in the comments below. I do have something in the works right now. With my Allosaurus replacement head that I've been working on for the last few months with Marco Makes. So I'll definitely be making a video about that soon. But I hope you guys enjoyed this little Rebirth review, and I'll see you in the next video.